The tilt is real.
Tilt is real.
This is when the tilt is real. Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of the Tilt is Real Fantasy Podcast. Coming to you live from the chef's table, here are your hosts, James Crease and Juan Pena.
Let's go. Welcome in, Tilters. It's Sunday morning, and we are live. This is the Sunday Tilt edition of the Tilt is Real Fantasy Football Podcast. Welcome in. Me and my co-host are live here. Mr. FF, one of a kind himself, Juan Carlos Pena in the building. Well, not in the building. We are live here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. What's going on today, bud?
I'm in the, figurative building, not the literal building, the same literal building as you, but I'm doing fantastic, Chef. It's Sunday, baby. We're doing the live show. Let's go.
It is Sunday. I love it. Welcome into the Sunday Tilt. We have a live, busy Sunday morning. Lots of injuries to get to, man. There are so many things going on. And hey, let's get right into it. We could start off. Where do you want to start off, Juan? You want to start off with the injuries? You want to start off with the games?
We can do the outs first, because we know those are gone if you want. Like, you did a great job of building the sheet for us, so we have everybody's information. We know who's in, who's out. So we already know who's out, definitely. We have a lot of those, and they're big names. So, like, people that aren't paying attention or aren't as fanatical as we are, and they didn't realize, like, I just told my, significant other, I had to let her know that Godwin wasn't playing. She had no idea. She didn't care.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how it goes.
What do I do? So you kind of want to go through those, the big ones, like Michael Thomas is huge. Godwin's huge. So you may want to run some of those down first.
All right. Well, let's put the chart up on the board, and it will be updated periodically. Let's do it now. Let's see here.
We're still about 30 minutes away from the official active and inactive report for the early games, the early window. But this will give you an idea of who's at least, maybe not playing.
Yeah, no. So we'll start off at the top. Michael Thomas, definitely out. Could be a couple extra weeks. We don't know yet. You got to be careful with that high ankle sprain. They do take a while to come back. The aforementioned Chris Godwin out with a concussion.
Right. He should be able to clear the protocol and be back next week, but you never know with concussions and how careful you want to be. He's a young dude. He's 24 years old. Like, you don't want to go crazy and bring him back too early. So they're being cautious.
Yeah, they have to be cautious with it. He was in practice a couple days this week, but Saturday was listed as out indefinitely. So Kenny Golladay, he's close, but he is not going to be playing this week. Still out with that hamstring injury. Right. And that's a big one, man. People are waiting. All those Matt Stafford owners are waiting out there patiently. But we've got a couple options for that, and we'll get into that when we get down to the slates.
It is. Early bird gets the worm, though, Chef. Real quick, if anybody out there is listening, go get Quintez Cephas right now, before later at 11:30 when you find out the official injury report. Try to beat your waiver wire people to it right now.
Absolutely. And if you're looking and you're watching us live, you can check out the replacements on the other side of this chart of the inactives and the questionables today. Paris Campbell, Darius Slayton, CeeDee Lamb, Anthony Miller, Alan Lazard, Quintez Cephas. Those are all good plays this week for a flex option. And as we get into those yellows are still a great option if need be. If you couldn't get one of those top tier ones in the green, then those yellow options are definitely good. And if you are in a deep league, 14 teams, dynasty roster or something like that, Brandon Ayuk, Traquan Smith, Adam Humphries, and Brashad Perriman, they will be decent plays this week. Not exactly the cream of the crop. But right back to it, A.J. Brown is out with the knee. We saw him going slow-mo last week against the Broncos, he was injured going into that game. So he was questionable throughout the week in practice, and now he is out again. Equipment is saying Brown. He is on IR. He will not be returning anytime soon. And then the late one yesterday, Jamison Crowder with a hamstring. He is out for today. George Kittle, knee out. Philip Lindsay out for up to 4 weeks now. This morning they came out and said 2 to 4 weeks.
They did, yeah.
So that is something to watch, and that's going to be one to watch because of all those Melvin Gordon owners. If you took a shot on him late, then you might get paid off for it. Not too interested in Melvin Gordon this week, but since he's the standalone, you got to fire him up if you have him. Yeah,
and that was like. Sorry, before you go on with that, I'm going to jump in real quick since we're talking about Philip Lindsay, and we may not circle back to him right away. I had a question come in from Liam Watkins out of Colorado, my man G-Man. So he asked, should he start Philip Lindsay? He asked me if he should start Philip Lindsay or, hold on one second, let me look up the question, or Marvin Jones Jr. Melvin Gordon or Marvin Jones Jr. Since Philip Lindsay's out, he wants to start either Melvin Gordon or Marvin Jones. I told him he should start Marvin Jones over Melvin Gordon.
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one, but I just figured
it's a PPR, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's PPR.
Melvin Gordon or
Marvin Jones against the Packers, yeah.
Melvin Gordon.
After last week, what do we think about Melvin Gordon? Like, I want to fade him completely this week.
Yeah, I think the safer bet if you have Marvin Jones is to play Marvin Jones. Only reason being is, Green Bay, they have a decent secondary. Their corners are pretty good. But Pittsburgh defense, that Pittsburgh defense, you saw what they did to Saquon Barkley, right. And if you compare Saquon Barkley to Melvin Gordon, it's apples and oranges, man. So they're not the two of the same. And if they could slow down and stop Saquon Barkley, we saw Tennessee do a pretty good job at slowing down the run against Denver last week. I think Marvin Jones is the way to go.
Yeah, that's what I told him. And you know what you want to hear? The funny part is he's playing against me. So he sent me a question and he's like, who should I start? And then he's like, oh, the funny thing is I'm playing against you. And
you got to start that with asking for a friend.
Yeah, asking for a friend. But I didn't even I had no idea that he was playing me this week. I honestly, I didn't check that league to see what was going on. And it's a family fun league and it's a 10-man league. And I had no idea that that was who I was playing this week. And I just realized I'm playing against him. And he said, who should I start? And I said, no, Marvin Jones. The upside's there. You've seen Marvin Jones go off in the past, and you've seen him have great games, especially if Kenny Galladay's a little banged up and he's not there. So it's him and Cephas as the only options. That game's a sneaky shootout possibility, that Packers and Lions game. So I told him go Marvin Jones. 15 carries for 6 yards for Saquon Barkley last week. Like, that's a really scary line. You know what I mean? And I know that the Denver O-line is a little bit better than the Giants O-line, but it's not significantly better where I'm like, oh, no, yeah, they're good. The only thing that could help Melvin Gordon today is a little bit of work out of the backfield. Like you saw Saquon have some success with the passing game. So maybe there's a little bit of success there for Melvin Gordon, and he's the only one there right now. So, but I still wouldn't project that to be anything great. And I would rather go with the safer pick and Marvin Jones, who's had some really good games against Green Bay in the past. And he does really well when Galladay's not in.
No, I agree. Quintez Cephas, man, he might get his wish today. You might be on to something there, man. You spotted him. You were following him from college, and it's a great pick. If you have him, play him along with T.J. Hawkinson in that offense this week.
Right. You mentioned that the Packers secondary is really good, Chef, and Amos is really good. He's a really good safety. Jair Alexander is an amazing corner.
Yes.
But if he draws Marvin Jones, like Marvin Jones is savvy enough to get his, but then on the other side, Cephas is the one that I feel like has the big boom potential. Like he saw 10 targets last week, and opportunity is king in fantasy football, especially with all these injuries. You want the guys that are going to get the targets. Like, we'll get to some of the names later on, but Cephas for me is one of my favorite waiver wire pickups this week. And I'm wearing a jersey that says Waiver Wire Heroes on the back. So
show it off, man. Show it off.
Waiver Wire Heroes.
Look at that. Waiver Wire Heroes. Juan knows what he's talking about when it comes to the waiver wire.
Yeah, it's gotten me to the championship a few times against you, Chef. So yeah, the waiver wire is real.
That's what's up. Gerald Everett, just pointing out on this list, Gerald Everett. He is questionable, but note came out last night with Sean McVay saying that he will probably play. So he's a yes. The news on Golden Tate came out, I believe, late last night, saying that he was most likely going to play, feeling a lot better with his hamstring. So what's that do? Does that temper your expectations a little bit on Evan Ingram and his targets if Golden Tate plays?
Yeah, you always worry about that when the slot receiver's in and it's a guy like Golden Tate that's going to get open and he's a veteran and he knows what he's doing. Some of those slot targets, intermediate, short routes are going to get lost from the tight end and taken away and given to that slot guy. But if you were going to start Evan Ingram anyway, like if you drafted Evan Ingram in a spot where you kind of have to start him unless you have a really good option, like if you have Jonnu on your bench, you know what I mean? Or you have, maybe you want to play Goddard.
Asking for a friend, Evan Ingram or Jonnu Smith?
Jonnu. I'm starting Jonnu this week. I have the same,
Yeah, the same predicament.
Yeah, I'm in the same predicament in like 2 leagues. I loaded up on a lot of Jonnu stock, so I have the same predicament, and I'm going Jonnu this week. I mean, you can't turn down the matchup against the Jags. You know what I mean? Especially with A.J. Brown being out. Again, opportunity is king, and I feel like the one with the most opportunity, he could see 8 to 10 targets today, Jonnu Smith, and if he does that with his athleticism, like that could be a really breakout kind of game for him. So I'm going Jonnu.
Nice. Yeah, I'm in that predicament.
Are you playing me in one of those? We're not playing each other in a league this week. We're in like 4 leagues together, but I'm not playing you in it.
Yeah, no, I think you dodged the bullet this week.
Yeah,
I don't like playing up against you, man. Last week was not fun.
Yeah, 1.2 points, right? That's what
I mean. 1.2 points, man. You couldn't have gotten it closer. Saquon did have a pretty bad game, unfortunately. Yeah. But let's get into some of these questionables. Brandon Cooks, quad questionable. It looks like he may go. Do you have any trust with him this week up against Baltimore?
So you saw what happened, week 1. You can't always go back to week 1, but you have to pay attention. Like you can't ignore history. You have to pay attention to it a little bit and learn from it. So you saw what happened last week, and Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham did not do well against that Baltimore secondary. Like they didn't do great. And Cooks, I'm scared of Cooks. He's one of those boom or bust type guys, and I would much rather have even certain guys. My man Jay Breeder. So even certain guys like Scotty Miller, like we're going to be able to talk about him later. Like there's a few guys out there that you can pick up off the waiver wire that provide a little bit more upside. Like Cooks scares me against that defense. I don't know if he's going to get Marlon Humphrey. I don't know if he's going to get Marcus Peters, but whatever he gets, he's going to get a solid NFL corner that's, could take you away. He has the speed to beat either one of them deep. But is Deshaun Watson going to have the time? That's another one that I benched Deshaun Watson this week, and I started Baker Mayfield. Like I'm scared of the Baltimore defense. I'm respecting defenses early in the year. The first few weeks of the season, the defenses are ahead of the offenses. The timing isn't right with the offenses. No preseason games. Defense has been winning out, and you've seen that because the teams are all switching over to short, intermediate passing, screen plays, like little things that they can get done. Even the Chiefs you saw last week go run heavy out of nowhere because they're scared of the defenses being ahead of schedule. So until the offenses can catch up, I would rather take a guy with more opportunity and more, a higher floor, let's say. And I think Scotty Miller or somebody like that or Quintez Cephas gives you 6, 8, 10 targets as opposed to Cooks who might see 4 or 5. Yeah, he can boom. But against that Baltimore defense, I just wouldn't trust it. I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to have the time back there to, find him deep. So
yeah, I'm trying to fade all those Texans this week up against Baltimore. It's just a scary situation that you want to avoid. I know it's only week 2, and it was the Cleveland Browns that the Baltimore Ravens went up against, but we saw what is really there. Their defensive front is scary. Okay, they will be in the backfield. They will be giving Deshaun Watson problems, and I know their secondary isn't the best with losing what's his name, Ed Reed,
Earl Thomas.
Why do I always say Ed Reed? Because he used to be there.
Ed Reed was the greatest safety you've ever seen with their own eyeballs. Then he played for them.
Even though losing Earl Thomas, they're still a great team, and I don't expect them to give them many opportunities to the offensive side of the ball that plays against them. David Johnson, if you have to. I know people saying, oh, well, he's a viable play this week with Duke Johnson, who is pretty much listed as doubtful, and this will change. I don't think he plays. But
even if he does,
Yeah, why even David Johnson, yes, he will be the only guy back there. But we saw last week, even up against the Chiefs, that David Johnson isn't that every down guy all the time. We saw Duke Johnson get some work, and unfortunately, he couldn't establish those runs. I don't think David Johnson wants to run in between the tackles. He'd rather catch those passes from Deshaun Watson and make his bread and butter on those short intermediate routes.
That's the only place, Chef, that I can see a little bit of success for David Johnson. Again, like Melvin Gordon, they're going to get stifled on the run. I don't expect either one of them to rush for over 60 or 70 yards. But what they could fall in the end zone if the game script goes the right way, and they could each have like 5 or 6 catches. What they do with those catches, now that's up for grabs. But again, for me, this is a 2 running back, whoever you have as your top 2, and don't get cute and put like David Johnson and Melvin Gordon in your flex. I'm going with wide receivers this week. Any one of the guys that we're going to name off later that are, viable options, that I would rather go that way this week. My flex this week, my tilt this week was David Johnson, Melvin Gordon, those kind of guys, James Conner, Benny Snell. Like I don't want to deal with those kind of scenarios. I'm starting my number 1 and number 2 running back. If I have a fringe third running back that like David Johnson is my third running back, I want to go with receivers instead. I'm going to take my chances with Scotty Miller. I might even take a flyer on Laviska Shenault. Like I'm going to do something outside of the norm given those matchups. I'm going to respect the Ravens and I'm going to respect the Steelers defenses and fade the running backs that are facing those 2 teams, at least for this week, till we see a little bit more from the offenses.
Okay, so we've got our outs right now, and until we get that news at 11:30, I believe we got about 10 more minutes before those injury reports, those designations really start coming in. I think the teams have about an hour and a half before kickoff. Is that the rule now?
Yeah, we have 13 minutes. So at 11:30, we'll get the official actives and inactives for the game.
So we'll leave this list up, and I like this setup right now because it's just you and I, and we'll let the listeners and the watchers. I guess they're watchers.
Yeah, watchers today, not listeners.
Watchers, yeah, listeners and watchers. Well, you could do both. We'll leave the screen up there for a little bit, and we'll talk back and forth. We're gonna get into these matchups. New York at Chicago. The New York Giants visiting the Chicago Bears, an 0-1 team against a 1-0 team that pulled one out last week against the Detroit Lions. Totally unexpected. Man, do the Bears claim home victory at Soldier Field this week?
Unfortunately for you, you're wearing that nice Giants jersey there.
I'm wearing the away one, and it's the Danny Dimes. I'll get up and I'll show everybody. Hang on. It's fresh, baby. It's fresh.
Danny Dimes.
It's fresh.
Yeah, I'm starting Danny Dimes. I own him in a couple leagues. I don't love it, but yeah, who wins that game? The Bears probably win the game. What I saw last week was the Giants defense hold up a little bit in the first half. They showed signs of life, but eventually they got worn down and they got beaten up, by the running game. And Benny Snell was able to succeed. He had 113 yards rushing. So I expect the same kind of thing from David Montgomery, who's one of my starts of the week. I love David Montgomery this week against the Giants defense. I'm even starting Tariq Cohen in a few leagues this week. He had a monster game against them in 2018 when he played against the Giants. And I know it's a different team, but familiarity. He just signed a new contract today, by the way. Tariq Cohen, a new 3-year deal. He's getting a little over $6 million a year. So, I'm saying the Bears. I think the Bears have enough to win that game. It might be closer than you think, but I think the Bears win that game.
After doing all the injury research last night, a little bit of news out of the Bears defensive side of the ball. Josh Woods, linebacker, Khalil Mack, linebacker, and Robert Quinn, linebacker. Now, Josh Woods is out, and Mack and Robert Quinn are listed as questionable. So those are the 2 names that I am watching for at 11:30 to see if they start. If they are not playing today, I'm telling you, Saquon Barkley is going to do some damage, along with either Evan Ingram or Golden Tate if he plays.
That gives you a little uptick on everybody on the offense for the Giants, obviously, because Khalil Mack is a game changer, game wrecker, difference maker kind of guy. Like, he's awesome. So him and Quinn on the ends, they're listed as linebackers, but they really play defensive end. Like, those 2 dudes on the defensive end, if they don't play, like, we'll find out in 10 minutes whether or not they're going to be playing. that makes a little bit of a difference as to, like, for example, the Golden Tate and Evan Ingram conversation we were having. That might give me a little bit of like, okay, well, if they're not playing, there won't be as much pressure, maybe on Danny Dimes, and he's going to have a little bit of time to throw the ball. And if he does, maybe I go back to Evan Ingram. I might want to play him. Golden Tate for me, either way, with the injury is I'm gonna fade him. It's too early in the season to start gambling on guys that are maybe playing, maybe not playing, third, fourth option on their team. But you're right about Barkley. It makes Barkley's, you're going to start Barkley anyway, but your outlook on Barkley is a little brighter if the defense is missing a few players, especially key players like, Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn. So, yeah.
All right. So we got our first update, and I am changing it live. He is a go. Let's see here.
What do you got? I didn't hear my
Cortland Sutton is a go.
My man, Cortland Sutton, pots and pans.
He is in.
I know it's against that Steelers defense, but I drafted him to start him. I believe in the talent. 6'4", 215 doesn't just get bodied. Like, that doesn't get just shut down. So, and Joe Hayden at this stage in his career, I think Cortland Sutton can take him. So let's go.
Yeah, that's the first one out there that we've changed so far. I'll be watching it as closely as possible and updating this sheet as we go along. We do have some people in the chat. Hey guys, if you're out there watching, hey, my man Troy. All right, I'm gonna put my boy up on the wall real fast. Glad you're checking us out, Troy. Everybody, this is Troy King. He is the Twitter superstar, the King himself, Troy King. He's a fantasy brother of ours. We work together at DHH. He also has a couple other great podcasts out there.
Dynasty Happy Hour in the building. Let's go.
Yeah, Mom. DHH in the building. Y'all starting Judy this week. Ooh. Denver at Pittsburgh.
Listen,
against who, Troy? Judy over who? Come on, you know the rules here.
The tilt is real, so you got to give us a little bit of an option as to who we're starting. But do I like the outlook for Judy? Yes, he doesn't get Joe Hayden. He's on the opposite side, so maybe there's something for him this week. I don't expect more than 5-7 targets, something along those lines, and it depends on how that game goes. But if Pittsburgh's up and they're playing from behind, and you see the vanilla soft defense, he could eat in garbage time at the end of the game, and that's great for fantasy. So the outlook may not be great for the Broncos as a whole, but for Judy, there's definitely upside for him to be able to produce.
And to add to that, Cortland Sutton is playing now, so he may draw the coverage a little bit more, and you may see Judy eat just a little bit. So if you're playing him in a flex spot, then yeah, I would definitely go for it. He said, meant mainly because Sutton is playing this week. Judy, Campbell, Lamb. Oh, that's a good one. Let's change that.
Ooh, stop. I love Paris Campbell this week. Stop. Yeah.
Half point PPR, he says.
Yeah, you know what? I love Paris Campbell this week. Like, he's one of my starts of the week. Like, I would go Paris Campbell. He's in the slot. He's eating. Phillip Rivers, historically, he threw it 17 times to the running backs last week, and he featured the slot. He threw it to Paris Campbell as well. I think I got to go Paris Campbell. I love Judy's upside, and the Steelers are built so that the safeties are great. Terrell Edmonds and Minka Fitzpatrick are amazing safeties, and Joe Hayden's a really good corner. But on the other side, there's a question mark, and at the slot corner, there's a question mark. So Judy could have success. This could be a good game for Jerry Judy. But again, the Steelers defense as a whole, I think I'm going to err on the side of Paris Campbell eating in the slot for the Colts. I think I'll go Paris Campbell out of those.
I think I would agree. I like Lamb actually a lot against Atlanta. I think he's going to have a great day. Blake Jarwin being out, we saw his targets go skyrocket. Dalton Schultz is not the answer they're looking for those short crossing routes. I think Lamb eats. I think they all three wide receivers for Dallas eat today, but specifically CeeDee Lamb in the middle of the field. But yeah, Judy, Campbell, or Lamb. That's a tough one.
So the target.
I would go either Campbell or Lamb just for the target's sake. I don't know. We don't know what Judy's going to do. He did drop a couple catches last week, and he only got targeted a little bit.
He had 8 targets last week, which is pretty good.
I'm sorry.
Jerry Judy. Yeah, no, Jerry Judy had 8 targets, and Paris Campbell had 9. Lamb had the fewer targets, but he had success and he flashed and he looks the part. He wearing that 88, make no mistake about it. Like, CeeDee Lamb looks the part. And I love him for that. And like you said, Jarwin's out. That's a shootout game script too against Atlanta. So I do like that matchup. That's a really tough question, but I still think I would go Paris Campbell. He had 9 targets and he might even have more this week. And I love the upside. I loved him coming out of Ohio State. He's an athlete. He's awesome. And yeah, all 3 guys are absolutely great. And if you have all 3 of those guys on your team, later on in the season, the tilt is really going to be real when they start coming into their own and they all start to develop that chemistry with the quarterbacks. Like, those are going to be 3 awesome guys. But today, Paris Campbell.
Thanks, Troy. We appreciate you too, man. You're great. Next question from Jay Brader. He joined us in last week, and he's here again. Ruggs, waiting to see if he's going to be healthy. Okay, with Ruggs, and I'm in this predicament as well, I do have a couple of Ruggs shares. You want to find a replacement now. Unless you have someone like Traquan Smith or Emmanuel Sanders on your roster to fill that Monday night hole, you're not waiting until Monday to see if your player is playing. And that's where I'm at with Ruggs.
That's the decision. Like that's really tough. Like all the Michael Thomas owners, when he was still like on the fence and you weren't sure, that Monday night injury concern is scary. Like that sometimes you lose out because you have to start somebody else, like a bird in the hand, right? So you want to get your points today and make sure that you have someone that's playing. And then, because if he's a late scratch on Monday, then what do you do? Like, are you scrambling? Maybe.
I wouldn't leave it for Monday.
Right. The options are just limited on Monday night. So you only have those 2 games. So you have to think like maybe Traquan Smith is available in my league. Probably not. Hunter Renfrow, is he really a viable play? Is he available in my league? Probably not. And, Edwards is already owned in most of your leagues. So you're not going to find Emmanuel Sanders out there either. So the options are so limited on Monday night that I would start, whoever I can today. Like I would probably err on the side of that. Unless I have one of those replacements on my roster already, and let's say Ruggs is out and you have Renfrow, you can do that. You can play it that way. But again, today, you can go out and get Cephas. You can go get Paris Campbell. You can go and get, and Chef has the numbers on that stuff, but you can go get Laviska Shenault. You can, like, these are guys that are going to be able to produce for you today. And, and you have your points already, and you don't have to go into Monday night worried or concerned as to whether or not Ruggs is going to play.
Right. We got it. Don't take your chances, Jay. Find a better replacement today.
Right. Find something.
Our next
today
question from Zach Argue is, maybe he's going to argue with us in the chat, or is that his last name? No disrespect either way. So he has a 2-flex league, Hilton, Ruggs, and Anderson, which to play. Or he has Justin Jefferson. So that's a 4-way in a 2-flex league. So we're picking 2 out of the 4. We're just adding Justin Jefferson to this. So Hilton, Ruggs, Robbie Anderson, or Justin Jefferson. This is a good one.
You know me and the optimism. I love the Robbie Anderson opportunity against Tampa. Like, I think that, you know what I mean? Like, he could have a shootout.
This is a tilt. This is a good tilt, Zach. This is a great tilt.
Yeah, this is great for the tilt Israel. It's absolutely perfect. So, again, Ruggs with the injury, I'm going to move him to the side. So, points in hand. I'm going to start T.Y. Hilton because he's T.Y. Hilton. All right? So, we're going to start T.Y. Hilton just because you don't want to leave T.Y. on your bench and because of a Monday night injury to Ruggs or something else like that. I love Justin Jefferson. I love his upside, but he didn't really see the targets last week, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time for rookies to come on. So, yeah, I think it's going to be for me, it's T.Y. Hilton and Robbie Anderson. The possibility of a shootout against the Bucs. The Bucs secondary is young, and it's coming along, but it's not as good as their run defense. I'm going to go Robbie Anderson and T.Y. Hilton out of those 4.
I like it. Robbie Anderson and T.Y. Hilton. Yeah, I guess those two have the upside. I don't really like Robbie Anderson up against the Tampa Bay defense. The secondary in Tampa Bay, they did do a good job of holding things down. Michael Thomas didn't see too much, and we don't know what their expectations are. But I guess if you have to take 2 that are solid, it would definitely T.Y. Hilton this week. We talked about him going up against Minnesota. He's definitely going to get some looks this week. They're going to hopefully spread the ball around a little bit and get the running game going with Jonathan Taylor. Which my other guy? Yeah, Anderson or Justin Jefferson.
Ty had a couple drops last week.
I think I would go with Justin Jefferson.
You like the upside of the rookie, huh?
I like the upside of the rookie. As long as he is in that number 2 spot. We saw Olabisi Johnson not really get too much work last week. And yeah, they are going to run the ball, but we saw what Laviska Shenault did, and he did well in that slot. So if he's playing the slot kind of receiver role for Minnesota and they don't do Irv Smith or Kyle Rudolph, yeah, it's a toss-up, man. That's a hard one, Zach. That is a hard one. I think I'd take a shot at Justin Jefferson this week, though.
All right, Chef's rolling the dice on a rookie. I think Robbie Anderson has a chance at least to be in a shootout type of game. I don't, Minnesota, that 12 personnel scares me off a little bit. And again, opportunities king, and the guy with the more targets. Ty is a definite start, like we said. Ruggs, because of the injury, might be a little bit of a fade. If he were healthy and he weren't on this at all, then I might go Ruggs. I might take a shot on Ruggs.
And we got Mr. John Swanson coming in. He's getting set up, and he's going to join us in for that second half hour of this live feed. Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
What's up?
What it do, though?
Guys, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, everybody. Sorry I'm a little late today.
Nah, that's okay. That's all right. No apologies needed. No apologies needed.
Hey, Chef.
I said Deshaun Jackson or Shenault in my last flex spot. So this is Danielle, and I said Deshaun Jackson or Shenault in my last flex spot. It's Shenault. I think it is Shenault this week.
Visca, baby.
Yeah, fire up Shenault. I like what I saw out of him last week. The Eagles, I don't know how much work that Deshaun Jackson's actually going to get if he may draw some coverage from Jalen Ramsey this week. So back off with that. That is not a good play to start Deshaun Jackson. I mean, I hope he stays healthy and he gets those nice matchups later on in the season. But as of right now, I would go with Laviska. And you're welcome, Zach. Thanks for joining in and asking your question. We appreciate that.
I got here late on that one, but I agree with where you got.
Thank you, Zach.
What Zach was saying. And Danielle, yeah, it's Shenault. Don't start Deshaun Jackson. Don't start any Eagle this week that isn't named Miles Sanders or Zach Ertz. Don't start.
You could start Dallas Goedert as well.
Dallas Goedert. That was the third one. That's it. There's a fly in here.
If you have to. If you have to, though.
If you have to.
Yeah.
Of course. Like if you have to.
Fly with a hammer. I love it.
Right, yeah, there's a fly in here. I mean, this is the closest thing that's had near me, so I don't know. There might be some drywall floating around soon, but hey, it's Sunday. Hi, everyone.
That's right. Hey. Breaking some things down.
Speaking of breaking things down, we got to start getting – no, not a question. I want to start the injury update, though. Since you have it up, you had everything there. It should be
everything's
now.
There.
We should get the notification.
Yeah, we have all right, so I'm watching some things. Tyron Smith is out for the Cowboys, offensive tackle.
Well, that's big for me. Yeah.
Yeah, that is big. That helps out. That helps out Todd Gurley. No, it doesn't. What am I talking about here?
No, it doesn't. It helped out the game.
Tackle?
Yeah, he plays left tackle. But it hurts Zeke a little bit, but it might do something for the Atlanta defense being able to get in there a little more and make that game a little more competitive. He's a huge piece of that offense. So, like, if you have Dak, if you were blessed enough to say have Dak or Matt Ryan and you were tilting, I would go Matt Ryan. If, all things considered, he's going to have at least a full arsenal in front of him. All his linemen are going to be available. So,
I wish I would be getting some news instead of
Miles Sanders.
Andy Reid? What kind of face mask Andy Reid is going to be doing today?
What kind of face mask is it?
It's going to be the same one. Thanks, Adam Schefter.
They're going to give him. They're not going to have a little.
No squeegee, no windshield wiper.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, no, nothing.
This is breaking news. This is important stuff.
For the Packers, for me, breaking news, like you guys know, I'm a defensive nerd. So Kenny Clark is out for the Packers. So that gives a little bit of an uptick for, your DeAndre Swift, Adrian Peterson, carry on whoever on the Lions. And again, the Marvin Jones question that we had earlier, Marvin Jones or Melvin Gordon, I'm going to go Marvin Jones all day on this. One less defensive presence. Kenny Clark, make no mistake about it, is an amazing defensive lineman. And he plays interior, and a lot of those guys don't get noticed, but he's right there behind Chris Jones and Aaron Donald as far as being like one of the best defensive linemen in the league. And when you have a piece like that missing, I think that creates a little bit more opportunity for the Lions. And I would do a little bit of an uptick on Marvin Jones, Quintez Cephas, your boy Hawkinson, Chef, things like that. That helps the offense.
Oh yeah, if you have Hawkinson, you're firing him up today. No holds bar.
Yeah, I think you have to.
I got one coming in from Caitlin. Shout out to Caitlin. Good morning.
Good morning,
Caitlin. Big Ben at Denver or Ryan at Dallas?
Matt Ryan. For me. Listen,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the scoring either. It's Matt Ryan.
Last week, there were 3 receivers who had 9 catches and over 100 yards on that Falcons offense. Matt Ryan produced that. And I know the game script led to that, but it could be the same situation against the Cowboys this week. Matt Ryan, for me, coming into the season, I had him as a QB5. I had him right there, QB5, 6, where it was hard to put people ahead of him. I just thought something special was coming from the Falcons. The offensive line is markedly improved. Like, they're so much better than they were last year. They don't have the injuries. I definitely think that Matt Ryan would be the start for me.
All right. Yeah, I agree. I think Matt Ryan is definitely the start.
I love Big Ben. Start anybody else?
Yeah. I mean, but hey, Big Ben's going up against Denver. Okay. That defensive front for Denver is a little bit stronger than what Matt Ryan has to deal with going up against Dallas. I think Matt Ryan will be able to get the ball out and early and often and stretch down the field. And when you have Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, they picked up Hayden Hurst, they have Todd Gurley, they have a lot of passing options, and they want to throw the ball. Yeah, we're not even touching on Russell Gage. And I believe did I put him on this list? I can't see it. I gotta make it bigger.
He did have 9 catches last week. I mean,
I should have put him on this list. I would put him somewhere in that Jalen Reagor, Corey Davis area, I would believe.
I'd say I put him around.
You know what's funny? They all went 9 catches on 12 targets for over 100 yards. Like, that's, I know he's not going to throw for 450 yards, Matt Ryan, again. He might, but he probably won't. But 300 yards and a couple touchdowns are definitely within that, range of outcomes that you want. And Big Ben could see himself in a position where they get up a little bit and that defense holds it down. That could be an ugly 17-13 Steelers victory, where the Cowboys and Falcons game, like I just, that seems to me like a shootout. Like, I don't see any way that game stays under 20 points for each team. So 3-4 touchdowns on each side. I'm going to take Matt Ryan on that one.
All right, and
it's a great question, Caitlin. Those are 2 amazing quarterbacks.
We got some breaking here. Devontae Parker is active. Muhammad
still not starting
down.
Yeah, gross. Not starting him.
even wearing his jersey, I'm still not.
No.
Yeah, no. I'm just, if people are out there and they have them, we got to let them know. I don't care if they want to start him or not. But
no. Listen,
just update.
Keep going. You keep naming them, and we'll keep making rude comments.
He is indeed active. Okay, Devontae Parker. Yeah, you don't really want to play anybody up against those Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills defense is really, really tough.
Yeah.
On the other side of the ball, though, hey, wait, Juan, I wanted to talk to you about this because you are the defensive guy, and 3 linebackers for the Buffalo Bills are out. Okay, Delshon Phillips, Matt Milano, and Tremaine Edmonds are all out today. What is the fantasy impact for that if you own Gesicki?
That is good. I was going to say Milano's the coverage guy.
Are you playing Gesicki? Milano is a linebacker. He's a linebacker.
Yeah, but he's a coverage linebacker. Like he's one of the like a smaller, faster linebacker. He's coverage, and Edmonds is all Tremaine Edmonds is all world. Like he's an all world linebacker. Like make no mistake about that. He's amazing.
Right.
So that does give you a little bit of an uptick for Gesicki. So yes, if given the choice, let's say Goddard or Gesicki, if that's kind of where the tilt is. But yeah, that I want to play them, but again, that defense is so good. They still have Micah Hyde, dude. Like they still, Poyer didn't go anywhere. Like there's still really good safeties there that are going to have to come down in the box a little bit and play. We don't know what we're going to do with our running game. We don't know if we're going to go Gaskin. We don't know the health of Jordan Howard. It's my team. It's my Dolphins. Gesicki is probably the only guy that I feel comfortable starting on that entire team. Might be good too. So
same.
That's about it.
I'm not taking my shot with Preston Williams either. Nope.
No, you can't this week. You can't. I mean, Parker or Preston Williams is going to get the Tre'Davious White treatment, and he's right there with Ramsey. Like he's right behind him. He gave up like 0 touchdowns last year on 84 times.
Well,
he
if
was
Parker's
targeted.
going, he's going to get the coverage.
Right. Well, Tre'Davious White stays on the one side, so like he'll stay there. Whoever they line up on that right side, just you're basically like forget about him. That receiver's irrelevant today.
So we mentioned.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
On the other side of the ball, my boy Ben wants to know: are you starting Zach Moss or are you starting Nyheim Hines?
Nyheim Hines.
Zach Moss or Nyheim Hines? Well, look at our sheet. Look at our sheet. It's in there in green, baby. He's up there at the top. I would definitely go with Nyheim Hines on this. He is going to be that check down guy for Phillip Rivers. We saw it. He is going to be the 1B to the Jonathan Taylor 1A. And if we know anything about history repeats itself, and Phillip Rivers has been doing this for years. He is going to continue to drop down check to the running back, and Nyheim Hines will benefit off of that. So yeah, I like Zach Moss. I don't like him up against that Miami defense too much, but if you have to play him, I have him listed here as a replacement. Juan's a little excited about that, but yeah, Nyheim Hines for me is the play.
Coming on, baby. Our defense is coming along. I love Zach Moss too, Chef. I like the talent. I like what I saw last week. Like he really did. He showed me something last week that I hadn't seen on film, and didn't get a chance to see too much of the college tape of him doing that. And he looks electric, but he's still sharing the backfield with Devin Singletary, and he's not going to get the passing volume that Nyheim Hines is going to get. So Nyheim Hines for me is a smash play in every league. Like everywhere I have him, I did my
as long as it's PPR. As long as it's PPR.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, if it's standard, then Zach Moss. But if it's PPR, 100% Nyheim Hines.
Okay, so let's go over some of this news. There are a couple of tight ends that are out this week. In particular, Jack Doyle. He is out. I don't know if I even have him listed on here. I should have listed him on here that he is out. My fault for that. I'm going to update the sheet. I'm going to update the sheet right now. Wow. Jack Doyle and George Kittle are out. And what are your expectations for some of these replacements over here? Logan Thomas, we just talked about Mike Gesicki. He might have a good day. But these yellow guys, OJ Howard, Eric Ebron, and Chris Herndon, out of those three, Juan, what are your picks out of those three?
I think Ebron against Denver. I like Ebron against Denver. That would be my fallback. That would be what I'd do. I wouldn't be shocked, Chef, if Jordan Reed came back and put up Kittle numbers this week, though. Like that would not be against the Jets. No Jamal Adams.
If you're the Kittle owner and you have a chance to roll out Reed, do you do it?
Yeah, I absolutely do. Against that defense, TJ Mosley opted out. Avery Williamson is their backup middle linebacker. He's a little bit banged up. They're young in the secondary. Jamal Adams is gone. That game, for me, somebody has to catch the ball for Jimmy G. It can't just be all running. Like I know Kyle Shanahan might want to run it 50 times and just say, Jimmy G, take a seat on this one. You have no receivers. But somebody has to be okay. Ayuk, somebody has to be, has to do well. So I think Jordan Reed has absolutely, we forget, like it's been a couple years and he's had the concussions. Jordan Reed was a star. Like he's a top 5 tight end in the league when right and when healthy. And in this system against that defense, I might go with him as a viable replacement. But out of the ones that you asked, Chef, I think
We got a little technical
Ebron has
difficulty with your mic, Juan. You're breaking up a little
the
bit.
upside out of the three that you asked. You asked Logan Thomas, Ebron, and what was the third option you gave me?
It was Logan Thomas, Mike Gesicki, and well, actually, it was OJ Howard, Eric Ebron, and Chris Herndon. That was the three.
Yellow boys.
That whole time I was breaking up?
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's all right.
You were coming in chunks. We still heard what you said. It just took a lot longer for you to get there.
Yeah, that. I usually talk really fast. We usually don't have that problem. I'm the micro machine guy.
There it is.
Weird.
It's back now. It might be your Wi-Fi connection. You know, you might have a plane flying overhead, messing with your reception there for a minute.
I actually am. I'm pretty close to the airport, so yeah, it could be possible.
Yeah.
Does that disrupt Wi-Fi? Planes flying?
Everything disrupts Wi-Fi.
What about
a microwave? A microwave can disrupt Wi-Fi.
Well, I mean, that makes more sense because the microwave is there, and I understand the plane. Like, what about a sandwich or like a piece of?
Is it wrapped in an aluminum? Is it wrapped in an aluminum foil? And if that is the case, then yeah, it could. Ooh, we can do this all day with the food, bro. Let's go, bring it.
Yeah.
You say broccoli, I'm gonna say no.
It's almost lunchtime.
What about rice?
It's almost lunchtime, man. It's almost game time. It's really game time. Let's get back to the matchups.
Pre-game meal, baby. Pre-game meal.
Oh, you want a pre-game meal? Oh man. You know, I cheated today, and it's Sunday, and Jay Brader is my trainer, and I cheated this morning. I did have a sausage, egg, and cheese on a croissant.
Like a McDonald's sausage, egg, and cheese, or
Wawa Sizzly. I needed some reassurance that I was just gonna cheat today all day.
Wow.
Oh, Josh Jacobs disrupts Wi-Fi. He absolutely does.
I'll tell you what, this guy right here, if you got a Wi-Fi connection, you got Josh Jacobs on the field. I'll tell you what, man, you're not getting connected to anything.
Knock if you're with me. Knock if you're with me.
And now James is
my man.
That's it. She did.
There it is.
Love that.
All right.
Jay,
any other questions out there? Oh, what? Where's mine? That's funny.
Where's what?
No, my wife wrote in the chat. What? Where's mine? I don't know. It was 2 for $4, and you know what? I ate them both. I'm not gonna lie.
2 of them.
Oh yeah, I cheated bad today. I was having a rough morning, guys.
Oh, sorry. You double cheated. That's deep.
Yeah, I double cheated. Yeah, it's bad. I'm gonna have to do hella crunches.
Where's mine?
Morning.
Well, thank you for tuning in, Allie.
I should pack a sandwich today.
Yeah.
You already ate. I'm bringing my own food.
I don't know about all that. I have a lot of beer here for you. It's Miller time in my fridge.
Yeah, you were
sure. Hashtag not a sponsor.
Almost got that fly that time. What, you were gifted some
with the hammer? You got the fly with the hammer.
I just missed it.
What are you trying to do with the? Are you trying to make holes in your wall?
No, I'm just trying to kill the fly. If it lands on the wall, then I mean,
so be it.
So be it. Whatever happens. This fly has been in our house for 2 days, and it disappears, and then we think it's gone, and then it comes back.
Love it. Chili cooking on the stove for today.
Chasing it,
Mr. Swanson.
Oh, really?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay.
Bring it on. Love it.
Cool. Beauty. What else we got?
All right. So not too much else. I'm not seeing any more reports. I'm waiting for these starts or sits. And they're just not coming through. Unfortunately. Let's just keep checking. Golden Tate is on track to play. We already talked about that. Hey Juan, what's your feeling on DeAndre Swift? with Kerryon Johnson not really getting too much of the passing work, is he a viable play this week going up against Green Bay?
Yeah, I mentioned Kenny Clark we mentioned earlier, Kenny Clark not playing for the Packers defensive line. Somebody will have the success. And he led the backfield in snaps. Like he was out there for most of the game over Kerryon and Peterson. Even though AP had all the success and he had 93 yards rushing on 14 carries, like Swift was out there and you saw him get the opportunities in the passing game, especially the late one that he wishes he could have back. And I think to boost his confidence, it would be in the best interest of of Bevel to use him and to, maybe even feature him in this game. So he's a sneaky upside play this week. And yeah, he could get a lot of work in the passing game. So yeah, he might be a good play.
Nice. I have other replacements for him, but yeah, it was one of them.
In a deeper league with two flex spots, would you be willing to start a guy like DeAndre Swift this week? Would you start?
What are your other options
over J.K. Dobbins, or let's say?
That's what I would do. Yeah, in a league with two flex spots. Yeah.
You have J.K. Dobbins.
I'm loving
Swift?
Dobbins this week against the.
Yes,
I do.
Wow.
Oh no, I have. Well, in one league I have Swift and Jonathan Taylor. In another league I have J.K. Dobbins and Swift.
I do too. I got Swift, Dobbins, and Moss in one league. I went rookie crazy.
Oh, that's
rookie fever.
14.
It's a 14-teamer?
Just 14. It's a 12 team, but I'm either way.
It's 14. That's the 14 league. Real quick question. Since Michael Thomas is out, and I wish I was in this league that had the option of putting Austin Eckler in their flex spot, but Austin Eckler or Emmanuel Sanders in a PPR.
What?
I think you got to go Eckler.
You got to go Eckler.
I think
Eckler.
As much as I'm starting Emmanuel Sanders in a couple leagues this week.
For me, anyway.
For who? I didn't hear what he said. You got another plane going up overhead?
No, it was Emmanuel Sanders or Eckler.
Yes.
Yeah. Who'd you pick?
Eckler.
Yeah. I think it's
Eckler. For sure.
Guaranteed the production this week. I rule with Eckler as well.
Do you think that there might be a split between Traquan Smith and Sanders this week? Like there won't really be a clear cut number one with Thomas out. I mean, you got like the balance of the veteran.
I think it's a balance. I think they are going to run the ball as much as possible and control the clock with Latavius Murray and Alvin Kamara constantly. Emmanuel Sanders could see a couple more targets. I wouldn't go out and say that he's going to have 15 or 12. He may have 8, 9, and he may catch 5 or 6 of those easily. 8.
You're saying 8?
We got a little delay there. What's going on there?
Someone gives you the better.
Yeah.
Eckler gives you a better floor.
Yes, absolutely.
No, not Eckler. Out of the receivers that you were talking about, yes, Eckler is for sure a start. Like I don't know that you're lucky enough to have Eckler in your flex. I mean, good for you. Like that's great. But you got to start Eckler over Emmanuel Sanders.
That's a fun league to be in where you have the choice to flex in
Eckler. Yeah, if Eckler's your third running back, you're in good shape. And you got to play him. Like last week, he did have the carries. He had 19 carries for 83 yards, something along those lines. Like that's not a bad game. And I heard somebody on the NFL Network, they were like, "Oh, he didn't have a great game because he didn't catch any passes." But 83 yards is going to put you at 1,200 for the year. Like, why? That's a good game. Like that's solid. He just didn't get the PPR work that you're hoping for when you draft a guy like Eckler.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think he'll do okay. I think Eckler is going to have a bounce back week. I think it's going to be okay. He's going to do just fine.
He going to be all right.
He's going to be all right.
For everybody, if they want to weigh in, like a question for you, Chef.
For me.
Yeah.
Do I get spotlighted?
It's based on the rest of our afternoon. So would you consider watching Red Zone as opposed to the NFL Sunday Ticket? Was that something you would think about doing? The reason I ask is on Thursday, when we watched the Thursday night game, we really enjoyed watching football on the big screen. And as fun as it is to watch 22 games at once,
9 games at once.
On 8 or 9 games, little tiny screens and an iPad, do you think that we would miss out on enough to where we should stick with the Sunday Ticket?
No. You can watch. Anybody can watch the Red Zone. That's fine. If that's what you guys have, that's what you have. I enjoy our Sunday mornings. Fighting over the remote, and I lose that fight, every week. I pretty much, I'm very passive when it comes to that.
So 8 mini games over at Red Zone.
8 mini games over a Red Zone, and here's my reasoning for that. Red Zone only will show you the big plays. Okay, maybe they'll show 4 games at a time. Juan, you have Red Zone, right? You watch the games on Red Zone. At most, they're going to show you 4 games at a time.
8. We go to the
they go to the octagon. They go to the octo box.
Mm-hmm.
They go to the octo box.
I mean, hey, if you want to try it out, man,
whatever. If
I can put the Red Zone on in the basement. You can watch it there and tell me which one's better. We need a wall of TVs, for each game. Problem solved. I love the way my wife thinks.
Love it.
Just throw money at them and get them to shut up. That's what it is. Throw the TVs all over the wall. That would be confusing though. Like seriously, I'm an advocate for Red Zone. Here's why. I don't need to see as much as I want to see it, and I'll get to it another day and I'll watch the film. I'll go back and do that. 3rd and 16 draw play from their own 14-yard line isn't exciting. What is exciting is when the team's in the red zone. You don't miss a single score for the whole day. You don't get the Fox News alert after the commercial break. Here we go. We're going to show you a play that happened 15 minutes ago. You don't see any of that. Like, you see the plays as they happen, the yard line, and doing interesting things. Like, I love and I don't have to touch the remote. I don't have to do anything the whole day. I just watch football.
I like the Red Zone, and I'm not against it. If that's what people's options are, feel free. We've had the ticket now for a while, and I'm very comfortable with using it, as is Mr. Swanson. He's over here most Sundays. And the things that you don't get to see, and you do have to go back, and Juan, not the average person does go back and watch all the games like you and I. But the things you don't get to see, like players or teams going for it on 4th downs over and over again, they're not showing that on Red Zone. Unless it's a big play that's getting broken down, you're missing parts of the game that are intricate to fantasy. And I'm not saying, like, for the average person, it's probably great. For the information that we use on a weekly basis, I want to be able to see those inside plays. I want to see those passes to Russell Gage that they're not showing, or Quintez Cephas. They're not going to show all those plays, and that's what I like when I see my fantasy guys getting that casual work, not just watching the target shares go up on my fantasy app. Whatever.
The good part about having,
you get to watch your individual guys as they go off in real time, compared to waiting for an update from Red Zone, and that is the only difference, I think. And Allie, thank you for posting that. If you want to build a war room here in our basement, I am down. I will get on that stat Monday morning. I am ordering. The drywall is going to come in. You're not going to see any more brick. This is a place to be drywalled, and there will be 9 TVs hanging here in our basement. We will make a war room for us, and it'll be the biggest underground bar you've ever seen in your life.
Well, I'm coming over.
All right. I think that
I don't think we'll ever leave. Mr. Swanson and I are moving in.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're moving in.
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna tunnel in.
We're 1 hour to kick off, baby.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, and
I
here
don't know
we
why
go.
football
We're
makes
gonna-
me so happy. Like, does it do the same for you guys? Does it make you so happy? Like you just want? I can't wait.
Yeah, we cannot wait. I can't wait. I
Oh, yeah.
cannot wait.
It's Sunday.
It's Sunday.
It's this.
There's something. I want you guys to do something for me before you put on the ticket. Put on the NFL Network, right? Or the Red Zone. Put on the Red Zone, and just watch the countdown and wait for the man Scott Hansen to say 7 hours of uninterrupted football starts now. Like it's so exciting the way he says it and the way that thing kicks off. And give it 30 minutes, dude. Like I'm doing an infomercial for the damn Red Zone. Give it 30 minutes before you go into your specific matchup about fantasy.
30 minutes would take too long. 30 minutes would take too long.
Give it the first 15, cousin. Give it the first 15. When they go to the first Octobox, you'll be like, oh, okay. And they don't miss anything. Any of the things that you're talking, they don't miss it.
Mr. Swanson and I might do our own
It's
little
a
live
great
feed and say, hey,
experience. For me,
8 hours of 8 games all at the same time. No, I'm just kidding. I hear you, though. We're going to wrap it up, guys. It is an hour before kickoff. And
all those nice commercials on.
oh, man.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean?
Oh, my.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we got a little major delay there. We're going to sign off on that note. Thanks, guys, for tuning in on the Tilt is Real Sunday Tilt. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys, and we will check you out next time.
Thank you for listening to the Tilt is Real Fantasy Podcast. Check out our website at thetiltisreal.com for weekly articles, breakdowns, and more. Follow us on Twitter at TIR_pod. We'll see you Tilters next week.
Hey, chef.